So would you be waiting on guests the way you are standing?
Well, I'm just confused. They sent us back in here. I don't know why.
Because they're the ones that are supposed to come in.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Okay, so. No, we can go and stop.
Salam.
Bob Augustus. Nice to meet you. Bob Augustus. Here's Mercury Corporation. Nice to meet you. See? And sequence mode? Okay, before we begin, I'd like to first say how we're excited, our company, McMurtry Corporation, to be here and that you guys have met us here. And for this opportunity, not only for our company, but for your country as well. I would, however, like to be honest with you all, that we do have another country in mind. However, with our visit to other countries, our 6-week tour, which our company took a 6-week tour to several countries. However, our CEO, Albert Weinstein, he's heavily favoring Malaysia. So we're really, really excited about this, and not only for us, like I said, but also for your country as well. So we're very hopeful that your country will meet our criteria that we have to be able to seize this opportunity for both of us. So on that note, we do appreciate you meeting with us today. Let's start with criteria 1 with Colin Woodrow.
Okay, for our first criterion that needs to be met is the availability of at least 100 indigenous high-tech workers, including engineers, operation analysts, human resource managers, and experienced accountants.
Can you define further what your requirements are for the indigenous workers?
Well, people who've obviously completed a university, 4 years of university, people who are capable of being able to manage and operate a business like ours. Yeah.
Thank you for going further.
Do they have to speak a certain language?
I would say English.
Well, many of our indigenous workers have many dialects. Do you understand everyone's dialects?
We don't, but we would make an attempt to understand them better if they were able to attempt to speak English as well.
Okay.
And from what we understand, Dr. Mahati, he has a policy in effect where he is bringing English into all the universities and colleges.
Correct.
And another thing towards that, we also need documentation that proves that this policy is working. We have received information that your country is in shortage of labor workers. And there's been much information on this policy, and we want documentation that proves that it is working, that people are actually going to the universities, getting skilled. And
Correct. We have France, Germany, and Japan that has been creating training centers for our workers here for them to mature in their intelligence and training as well.
We will get that documentation to you to prove that we do have more and more skilled workers here.
Thank you. Another thing that we have in mind, and we want to debate with y'all, is on the salaries of the workers. We feel that it would be fair to start at 70,000 because these workers aren't, we don't know the capability that they may have. We don't know if this policy is working, if they're really educated and skilled in what we need.
We assure you that our workers are very well trained, and we would like 90,000.
I think we consider 70. I really think that we need some more documentation whether or not these workers are skilled, because we are taking our business to your country, and after all, we are going to be benefiting your workers and their families. So I think that should be rethought and reevaluated.
I believe 70,000 is pretty stern, considering that what your education is right now. Without that documentation in our hands, we're not 100% sure how, until we get that proof.
Another thing is that your country has 6% of the people going to universities, whereas in Thailand there is over 15%. So that's something that does worry us when it comes to the workers and their salaries and whether or not taking our business to your country.
Would we be willing to go to 80?
Will you still provide us that documentation?
We will get that documentation to you.
After all, we're not the people who are actually deciding on this. Our Weinstein, our official, he's going to be the one going over this information, but we'll provide him this number to see if he's okay with this. I think it's okay. I think we can manage.
I think we can put that in our contract. Claire, can you please make those changes?
Thank you.
Now we're going to move to our second criteria, which Claire Watts is going to handle.
Okay, our second criteria is for us to establish our facility in our research and development in Kedah, and especially next to the port of Penang. Now, these are our maps of Kedah and the port, and compared to the rest of Malaysia, the west side of Malaysia has a lot more transportation, more developed roads, and you can reach this port by mainland, by air, and by road. So that's what we're looking for to build our plant.
Centers be built in the same area.
Training centers for your employees.
Yes.
For the 100 employees, you're saying that you're going to provide for us.
Correct.
You would like a training facility.
Training facilities, yes.
Yes. Who's going to cover the cost for these training facilities?
We would like your company to help with these costs. We have also received in the past funding from Japan, France, and Germany. But this does not come without benefit to your company. These training centers would be in a Malaysian-free zone. And as you might be aware, there are a few controls and restrictions that hinder foreign investment in these zones.
We can probably take that in consideration whenever we talk to Winston, but as I said, he's gonna take the final decision, so we can bring it up and see what he thinks.
I think that would be a possibility, as long as you are in agreement to allowing our facility to be located, both the fab and as well as the R&D, the research and development building there as well. I don't think that would be a problem. Okay, Claire, can you please make those changes on that as well?
Thank you for that.
And please understand this is a conditional agreement, which means that it can change based on when we go back and discuss this with our CEO, Mr. Weinstein. Moving on to the third criteria, this is where low labor costs come in. Our financial department worked up a schedule of labor costs. Basically, for unskilled labor, I've tried to make it big enough so that you can see. Unskilled labor, we're looking at an average of 500 per month, and that's in the Malaysian ringgit. For semi-skilled labor, it's an average of 600 per month, and for skilled labor, an average of 900 per month.
Would these be adjustable in the future upon providing documentation of our educational policies, the benefit they have had?
As long as we have evidence, because we've seen proof that your shortage of labor has been, we've seen false proof and hard proof that the shortage of labor has gone up. So as long as, and I know that Dr. Mahati put into effect those policies that bring in more, or you guys are trying to keep people into your country, both to go to universities to become more educated, as well as keeping them from going abroad to get jobs. So as long as that is on the climb, and you can show proof that that is on the climb and it's not decreasing, then I think once we see not only that documentation, we see how your workers perform, that definitely can be negotiated.
Well, our intelligence unit since 1996 has been increasing rapidly for 38% for our intelligence unit, for our workers, for their training and education. So our workers will be able to have their skills maintained to the level that you would like for them to maintain as you're trying to proceed in this documentation.
Okay, so basically you're in agreement with these numbers until we get the documentation, and then we see how your workers perform? Is that what I'm understanding?
Correct.
I don't think we need to make any changes to it, so I think we're okay on that. So I guess that handles all three criteria, correct?
Correct.
Okay, can we please have me sign the memo, conditional? And again, it's conditional. It's going to change once we meet with our CEO, Albert Weinstein.
documentation has been received, and we can further continue our negotiations, since so much does depend on the documentation.
Definitely. Well, we're here for 4 days, so we can definitely meet back up. And in the meantime, we can get in contact with Mr. Weinstein and talk to him. I definitely appreciate all your time. It was very nice to meet all of us. And I look forward to this. I hope that it works out once we get all the documentation.
We will get that documentation.
It'll be a great opportunity for our company, McMurtry Corporation, as well as your country. It was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
And then she did a great job of wrapping up at the end, saying,
Yeah, Bob Augustus did. She did a good job.
And then just saying,
But you know what
um,
happened with that team too? One girl, of course, dropped the class, so they had only 2 of them.
Just one stage, like, you know what, just remember that. This business, like this,
So this is
We were prepared for so much stuff. Like in our strategy session, we went through like a whole bunch more than what we did right. They were just like, okay, yes, we're in agreement.
70, 90,
Right.
80.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Right.
The salaries you didn't. You mean?
And then even on the low
Hey,
wages, that was
they're
supposed to be the most
Yeah.
problematic, and you guys had no problem with it. Okay, sure, let's start with it. Yeah, well, that's what I'm asking for. Good. I mean, it was good.
Hey, Bob. You can sit. Alex. Hi, Bob. It's good. Bob is. Oh, they're doing the flower trying to.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Augustus. How do you meet you? My colleagues will be in momentarily.
Okay.
Thank you. Oh, here they are. Let me introduce you to Ms. Colin Woodrow. And this is Miss. And this is Miss Clara Lawrence.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hi.
How was your trip?
It's lovely. Your country's beautiful.
Thank you.
Let me start by saying it's been a
As you
pleasure.
see, my colleagues are not here. They have a fever. They need to stay at home. So we can do it by your own, or we can reschedule this meeting for a few days if you agree, because we like to be. Oh.
Hello, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Bob Augustus. Thank you.
And Bill here. Abdullah.
And I'm Miss Clara Lawrence.
Abdullah Kadir.
See?
You feel better?
Again, I'm Bob Augustus, and I'm the Senior Manager of Strategic Planning. And my colleagues and I would like to say that it's been a pleasure to be here in your country. We'd first like to begin with some issues that we would like to discuss. We would begin with an issue that will be discussed by my colleague Clara Lawrence, and I'll turn it over to her.
First of all, I want to say that it was a pleasure getting to know your culture and viewing the land. It was just such a beautiful country, and I found the perfect place that we can put our building if we continue to do business. First of all, I want to show you the area. I printed out a map of exactly where the site would be. And as you can see, it's right off the coast of, near the seaport of Penang, yes, where there's the airport is close, the exports of the boats are there, they're close, so that way we have access to imports and exports of our goods. The second information that I found about Kedah is the infrastructure. I found out that it was, you have up-to-date roads and highways and byways. That way we're able to get our materials in there to build our building, and it'd be easier. It won't slow down our time with time constraints. Also, like I said, the airport is close by. That's why I picked that area. Plus, it was in the free zones of your country. Also, as I was looking into your telecommunications, your country is linked globally, which is very good for us since we're based in the U.S. and other countries. So that way we are able to communicate not only with the people of Malaysia, but with our other companies. It was just a win-win, and I feel as though if we are able to access the land near the Penang seaport, it would just be a great opportunity for us to build and continue to grow with the people of Malaysia. However, one concern was you have an environmental group movement that's starting up because of all the trees being cut down, and I thought one of the reasons if we can try to resolve that would be that usually when we build a building in another country or in America, we usually like to leave surrounding trees. That way we're not cutting down complete areas that we're not going to even use. So if you could think about that, and maybe if we can get in contact with some of this environmentalists, so we won't have any issues with them trying to deter us, that we are trying to save some of the forests. And that's basically what I have. It's a beautiful country.
Yes.
It's a beautiful place, and we would like to continue to do business with you.
Why not Penang is a very good area for business and for import exporters also. So our roads are not so bad, how you think, but we can deal for Penang area maybe near the airport or something like that.
So let me clarify. You said you don't like the area that we chose, or you do?
We do.
Okay.
We do.
Great. Thank you.
Moving on to another one of our issues, I'd like to discuss the availability of at least 100 Malaysian high-tech workers, including engineers, operations analysis, human resource consultants, and experienced accountants. Do you think this can be available to us?
Maybe not over 100 people, but we can deal to, if you can, to bring maybe 50, 60 Americans, maybe 50, 60 people to our country, and we can find highly educated people.
Highly skilled workers are few and far between, and their wages are quite high because there are a few of them, but we have plenty of semi-skilled workers who would be willing to train and learn the ways of the company. And we've also come up with the idea that maybe 50-50, half of the workers could be Malaysian and the other half could be brought in from the United States.
Okay, so what you're saying is that you have 50 available to us right now, right? What about the possibility, like, can you assure us that by the time we start construction, which is in about 5 years, do you think you could possibly have us up to 100 by then?
By then, for sure, yes.
By then you could have us up to 100 workers, skilled workers?
Yes.
Okay, I guess that's fine. Can we do that time frame?
Would you be able to guarantee us that and put that in writing, that you would definitely guarantee us 100 skilled workers by then?
I think in 5 years it's very likely. The education is expanding and there are training facilities in our area, and there are plenty of semi-skilled people, and I'm sure that in 5 years many of them will have gained more skills.
Very good. And continuing on from that topic, we will now go into the cost of labor and what we are willing to pay as far as pay wages for these workers. We have budget that we are willing to pay unskilled laborers an average of $500 per month. And semi-skilled labor workers, we are willing to pay an average of $600 per month. Skilled labor, we are willing to pay an average of $900 per month. How does this sound to you?
As we said, we will have prepared and skilled employees in 5 years, that's for sure. So we can start maybe 80,000 per year for employee.
Well, again, I like to emphasize that we already have a budget in place. And because we are allowing you this time, because we really want to do business here in Malaysia, we feel as though this should be adequate enough for you, given the time that we're giving you to get these workers in place. That should be sufficient, and that shouldn't hinder us from moving forward. So we would like to stick with the budget that we do have planned and keep with the average wage that we have agreed upon.
Are your wages in US dollars or Malaysian dollars?
Malaysian dollars.
And also, you could think of it like this: we're going to start you off at $70,000, but who's to say, because we grossed $17.5 billion throughout our other companies, who's to say that it will not increase over time? So, I mean, that could be a starting point, and then we can open up to renegotiations later if we can produce the amount that we need to increase our productivity.
And
So,
the fact that we're giving you the 5 years extra to 5 years extra to get these workers skilled, it's also saying that they probably would not have that much experience. So we want to start them off at 70,000, and as they progress, we could, we can negotiate later on to increase it.
And this is the 70,000, is this for the semi-skilled or the highly skilled? I think I need to talk to somebody, my colleague for a minute.
That's fine.
then you said 70,000 per year starting. $900 a month doesn't equal 70. I can't do this. I'm sorry. It doesn't equal 70,000 a year. I'm confused. Could you please clarify?
Well, again, we said a skilled labor, we could have to $900 a month. So you're not
And
even.
you said something
What
about,
is the starting point per year? It's seven.
you said 70,000.
70,000 total for our budget.
So that's per worker.
No, that's what's in our budget to get this operation going.
I was very confused.
That's the biggest concern right now, because we thought that it will be 70,000 per employee per year.
Now
What is
that, and I mean, like I stated before, you have to think about it, that's just the starting point. The more productivity and the more successful this company is in Malaysia, the more, the better chances are pay raises. And, that's with any business. I mean, if we do well, the workers do well. If we don't do well, the workers don't do well. I mean, that's just the name of the game.
But there are so few skilled workers that they won't work for the company if they're being paid far less than the average of the country, or than the minimum of what most people make in the country.
So we also want you to keep in mind that we know that you're trying to attract company like ours to your country. And if we find it best fit here to allow our company to be established, it will not only benefit us, but it will also benefit you. We know that it will attract more of your Malaysian citizens to stay here and not have to travel abroad looking for jobs. And also it will attract other companies. Keep in mind that we're a company that we're globally already. So we are very competitive in the global market. So we have to look at this as a future standpoint as well as the right now. So again, as my colleague said, we will be willing to renegotiate furthermore in the future that could possibly increase salary for these skilled workers once we get our company rolling. So just keep that in mind, and don't let this be a deterrent. And also, just to let you know that there are other countries who we have been looking at, such as Thailand, which is also a great fit for us. However, we, as my colleague pointed out earlier, we love the infrastructure here that is already well developed. Your free zone is remarkable for our company. So by saying that, please understand that this is just a start. So it's a start to a bright future for all of us. It's a win-win for you as well as for us. Mm-hmm. So don't let this be a hindrance, because this will only progress in the future.
Yeah, we appreciate it, but still we don't understand this about the employees and their salaries, because they will have.
I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off. Do you have like proper documentation that will show us that the plan put in place to have skilled workers by the time, in the time frame we gave you is logical? Do you have documentation?
No, we don't have, but 5 years is fairly enough to have highly skilled people for all those jobs.
What was when you crunched the numbers, what did it come up to?
The 900 per month coming out per year, about 10,800 a year.
Okay, compared to, and then you totaled them all up, and then it would be the 70,000.
Right, 70. You said 70,000 was your total budget for all the workers. But that would only be the wage for 10 highly paid workers.
10 highly paid workers.
Not even 10.
So it's 10,000.
800 a year. 70,000 was your budget for all the workers.
And again, what is your budget?
Right.
We really don't want this to be a hindrance, so we're gonna try to do our best and to settle this dispute or this situation that arose. You are concerned, I see, about your salary for your employees, but again, I want you to consider what it would be like for the future, not just for right now. So really think about this being a hindrance. And again, as I emphasize that we have looked at Thailand, and they are willing to accept this salary that we're offering to you. But again, your infrastructure is great, and we really want to be here. So please reconsider and understand.
Can I ask, how much do you think we should pay our workers? What do you suggest?
Typically the highly skilled ones in our country, because there are so few of them, around 70 or 80,000 is like the lowest salary
70 or 80,000
per year. It's the lowest salary that for the highly skilled workers.
And I know that it's hard to find highly skilled workers. And we know that's a big issue. That's a
In
big
Malaysian dollars.
in Malaysian dollars, and I know that's the big problem. But also, you know that you have a lot of unskilled and semi-skilled that will become probably making up the majority of the 100 workers that you're going to be giving us. You might want to think about it that way as well, because you might not get but 10 or maybe 7 highly skilled workers that will have to train and manage the other Malaysian workers, if you think about that from a management standpoint as well.
And we can also look at the colleges of the recent graduates who could possibly work at maybe a little bit higher than what you're negotiating, but lower than the average of them.
As a sense, the goes under the 75,000. We'll have prepared people for in the future. So under
70,000.
75, it will be okay. Yes.
Okay, we could probably do 75, considering we reduced the time given you to get these workers. We could do 75 in 3 years. Can we do that?
Yes.
3 years?
Okay.
Based upon what we discussed today, there's a memorandum of understanding that we would like to have signed amongst each and every one of us here today. And this will solidify what we've talked about and discussed today and agreed upon. So without further ado, we will
I
sign.
have one more question for you on the proposition. If you're interested about independent area for some training centers, if you want to invest to finish in 3 years, to have prepared people, highly skilled people in 3 years, you're interested?
Penang has a very large number of training facilities and training areas, and thus people who are training and building on their skills.
So what is your proposition?
That we will definitely have in 3 years
Okay.
enough skilled people.
Okay. That's great. That there's a lot of training facilities in Penang. That's where we want to be, and that's where we want, that's the best place for us to be. As you can see by signing the memorandum, that will guarantee that you have our 100 workers and all the issues that we talked about today, as well as, opening up for further.
No, that they can be proposition for the future.
Yes.
Open up a long-term communication from our business to your country.
This could be the start of something good. So without further ado, we'll sign.
It's right here.
Thank you for making that correction.
Right here is where we at, down here, $75,000.
75,000.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Then, right? So just give you the
$900 per month.
The last section was, it's still, it's mixed. As we increased it to 75,000 in the 3 years, this has to be adjusted. So really, this will be further adjusted after we have.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
And if you still have any other questions, like I said, this is only the beginning. And, you know, there's gonna be plenty more, meetings and, between the two, so feel free to use our contact numbers and contact information, if anything else.
So in closing, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure meeting with you, and we hope to further business with you. Thank you.
Now, can you give me back my cards?
Thank you.
Yeah,